Finding sources. Once you've chosen a topic and created a thesis statement, it's time to roll up your sleeves and begin some serious researching. You may have already done some preliminary research using the internet or other sources. That's just a start though, and remember, the website Wikipedia is okay for preliminary research, but now that we're specifically looking for sources for our paper, we have to discard it as an option. So what are we looking for? Well, we can go to any number of sources. Some examples include books, scholarly journals, newspapers, and the internet. Interviews are another option and can either be in person or as a part of a TV or radio news program. One of the sources I mentioned was scholarly journals. They're also called peer-reviewed journals. Scholarly journal articles are written by people very knowledgeable in that subject and then edited by experts to ensure they are of high quality before they are published. They are specific to a topic and contain in-depth articles that have the latest research in a particular field. In addition, you'll notice that scholarly journal articles include references. The authors clearly mark which ideas come from other sources. Scholarly journals usually also have article submission instructions included near the front or back of the journal. Scholarly journals are one example of periodicals. Other periodicals are newspapers and magazines. Some are very general. For example, Time magazine. They cover many different subjects and the articles tend not to be very in-depth. They also contain articles that may be written by journalists who may have researched for the article but aren't very knowledgeable on the subject. In fact, some articles may not even mention the author. Generalized periodicals are written for the general public. Other periodicals are specialized, specific to a subject. Some of these are non-scholarly, for example, teaching children mathematics. It's primarily directed toward math teachers or those studying to become one, but is not rigorously reviewed like scholarly journals. Another way to discern them and generalized periodicals from scholarly journals is that they include ads while scholarly journals do not. The nice thing about searching for journal, magazine, and newspaper articles is that indexes and in some cases entire articles are available online through databases. One can go to an online database such as Academic Search Complete and use keywords and other identifiers to search for an article on a specific topic. The Fountain New Library and many Georgia libraries have a collection of databases called Galileo. I go into how to use Galileo in another presentation. For now, just keep in mind that you have access to journal, magazine, and newspaper articles through the library. Another option is books. Some are reference books, which include encyclopedias and handbooks, among others. These are great places to start your research. In fact, you may have already used them in pre-research. Some reference books can be very helpful in providing an overview of your paper's topic. Reference books cannot be checked out from the library. However, the books in the library's circulating collection are available to loan to you. Most of these books are nonfiction. While it may look overwhelming to use a book, there are smart ways to find applicable information efficiently. For example, use the table of contents or index to zero in on the places in the book that apply to your paper. One advantage of some books over scholarly journal articles is that these books can provide a foundation for the topic, whereas articles can use vocabulary and content more advanced than your knowledge on the subject. This is especially true with topics related to the sciences. For most traditional college students, finding information on the internet may appear to be the easiest way to go. However, in another presentation, I point out that many websites are not appropriate for scholarly work. In that presentation, I also go into the ways of seeing if a website is appropriate. The main problem with websites is that anyone can create one, or even if that person or group doesn't even know what they're talking about, they can as well. Perhaps they may be deliberately providing false or skewed information too. And just because it looks professional doesn't mean the content is reliable and usable. Some examples of websites that would likely be appropriate in most cases include government websites ending in .gov, websites of well-respected organizations such as the American Cancer Society, or official websites of locations such as the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Finally, I want to address one other aspect of looking for sources, and that is whether a source is a primary source or a secondary source. Primary sources are first-hand accounts of an event. For example, an interview with a participant in an event or a researcher's article reporting results of her study are each a primary source. Secondary sources are an interpretation or evaluation of an idea or event. A book review in the New York Times is a secondary source. You should try to use primary sources, for the most part, in your research paper. So those are some of the main types of resources you can use in research. There are others I haven't gone into specifically, such as TV shows like 60 Minutes and interviews. Using the ones I talked about will likely constitute most of your sources. Just remember to evaluate each one, especially websites, to ensure it is appropriate for use in a college-level paper. Here is the contact information for the reference librarian. Please don't hesitate to contact the library staff with questions.